Hey YouTube, it's James from the Wyvern Watch here. Another deck profile for you. I think this is number 6 I've done now. So this is, we did Starry Nights first. I think we've done Invoke Dogmatica. I think we've done Exorcisters. I'm trying to think which else I've done now. But this is my Gusto deck. So this is one of the oldest decks I run. One of my favourites. I love the artwork. I love the sort of the flexibility of it. Primarily, it's the artwork that sort of grabbed me for this one. You know, Pilica's a great looking card. I love Sfreeze as well. It's one of the older archetypes. I always, like to keep hold of it, like to keep it up to date, like to keep it current. So there's a few newer cards in here. And this is my up-to-date version and deck list, so I hope you like. Feel free to obviously comment and correct me where I've gone wrong, but let's get straight off into it. We'll start off with the Gusto monsters themselves, and of course, here being sort of the heart and soul, we have 3 Pilica, Descendant of Gusto. So when this card is normal or specialed, I can target 1 Wind Tuner monster from the graveyard and special summon it in face-up defense position. So obviously that opens you up immediately to synchro plays, because you can obviously grab your tuner from the graveyard, but also potentially rank 3 plays, which I've got a couple, 1 or 2 of those as well, or link plays, of course. So it's a great starter for the deck. I don't think you'd be running the Gusto deck correctly if you weren't running 3 of these. Pretty difficult to get hold of now as well, actually, to be fair. So bring on the Gusto structure deck. That's all I'd like to say. So yes, that's the 3 Pilicas. We then still run 3 Gusto Guldos. So we used to sort of max out on all the Gustos, but we have limited some of them now. But this is sort of one of my primary targets to get into the graveyard as soon as possible, so you can special out with Pilica's effect, which, like I say, leaves you open to a rank 3, a link 2, or a synchro for 6. And the synchros for 6, is where we start to see some of the power of the deck as well. So 3 Gusto Guldos. Sorry, its effect, of course, is when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, I can special 1 level 2 or lower Gusto monster from my deck. So it does indeed float. One of the main targets for that effect would be Gusto Eagle. Very similar card to Guldo, obviously being a level 1, this one's still a tuner, of course, so we can still target it with Pilica. But when this one's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, I can special summon 1 level 4 or lower non-tuner Gusto monster. So again, there's a couple of monsters you might target for that. One of the main ones that we used to run 3 of, but now we just run, sadly, the 1 of, is the Winder Priestess of Gusto. And when this card is destroyed by battle by an opponent's attacking monster and sent to the graveyard, I can special summon 1 Gusto tuner. So the whole thing then floats around again. So you go Guldo to Eagle to Winder, and then back to Guldo, and then potentially to an Eagle again. So nice little combo there. Like I say, this is not a competitive deck by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a great fun if you like this sort of thing. But this is another one of the newer ones. I forget the set it actually comes from now, but it's DAMA anyway. But if a face-up Gusto monster on the field is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard, I can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a great extender or great recovery card. If this card is normal or specialed, and you can spend 1 Gusto monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then you can special summon 1 Gusto monster from your hand. So obviously loading your graveyard, which is important for Gustos anyway, because some of the card effects rely on you having Gusto monsters in the graveyard. But also special summoning from your hand as well. It's a tuner, it's a winged beast, it's wind, it's great. The whole deck wind, by the way. I just made sure that is the case with this particular deck. 3 of those. And this one has slowly gone from 1 to 2 to 3. So we're now playing Gusto Griffin at 3. This is one of the most important deck cards in the deck now, because the I've also started to run a lot more cards that require a discard. And if you have one of these in your hand, and obviously we discarded it with one of the other effects, you can special summon Gusto monster from your deck for free. So we can benefit from, so we can plus off some of the effects that require a discard, which in my opinion is absolutely brilliant. So we tend not to summon this one too much, but we just use it for discard fodder. That's it for the Gusto monsters for the main deck. However, we are also playing the Wind Witch engine. So we are running Wind Witch Icebell at 3. Most of you will probably be fairly familiar with this card now, but it will special summon itself, assuming she's we haven't got any monsters on the field. And then, of course, what is it? We can add special summon one Wind Witch monster from your deck, which of course will be the Glass Bell, which then allows you to search for another one. And if you have 2 Wind Witch monsters, you're going to special summon the Snowbell. Once you've got those 3 on the field, you're then open to going into a level 7 Synchro, and then using the last Snowbell to sync again into Crystal Wing and make it indestructible as well, which is all very, very nice. And I think, because it's all wind, fits nicely in this particular deck and this particular build. Last 2 monsters, I run 1 Wind the Wind Channeler. I've had this card at 2s and 3s, and I've settled down on 1 because it will special summon itself if a wind monster has been destroyed, but also obviously you've got the search by discarding 1 wind monster, which could of course potentially be the Gusto Griffin to plus off, but I keep finding myself with more than 1 in my hand, and it's just not working that way for me. So I've put it down to 1 anyway, but we're still running it. And the last one, and how can we not, is the Tempest Dragon Ruler Storms. It's a wind deck. We don't have any other dragons, but it'll work with obviously wind monsters. And once we get it in circulation, we can just keep resummoning it. So it's a great card. Why wouldn't you want it? That's it for the monsters then. We're going to go into spells, and for whatever reason this card's been put back at 3, so we are now running 3 emergency teleports. Obviously grabs Pilica, which will then special another one, so it gains great advantage. If we can also target Wind doing it, because that's also a psychic monster. But yeah, again, why wouldn't we run that when we're running cards like Pilica in our deck? We also have 3 creature swaps, because we are running fairly weak monsters in the main deck, and it's always good fun to pass one of our weak monsters and pass it, exchange with your opponent with one of their stronger ones. But also, once we destroy our own monster, their effect of course triggers in the graveyard, and we get the special summon off that effect as well. So works really well in this deck. I've run 3 creature swapping the Gusto deck for a long time now. Two of the new one, which is Tailwind of Gusto. So equip only to a Gusto monster. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Great news. We can also only use each of the following effects of Tailwind of Gusto once per turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard and discard 1 wind monster. Add Gusto spell trap depending on add 1 Gusto spell trap from your deck to your hand. You can activate this effect based on the level of the 4 or lower, special summon 1 Gusto monster, or 5 or higher, special summon 1 level 1 tuner from your deck. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a bit of a niche card, but it's a Gusto card, and I want to run Gusto cards in my deck, so that's basically where that's coming from. One of the cards we're discarding from, of course, is Twin Twisters. It's a wind deck. It seemed very appropriate, so discard 1 card. Obviously, everyone knows what Twin Twisters do. I don't know why I'm reading that effect, but yeah, that's 2 Twin Twisters. And then we've got a few one-offs as well, so I'll bring those on. We've got Monster Reborn, don't need to explain that one. We've got Change of Heart, don't need to explain that one. Quillpen of Guldos, that's a pretty niche card. Most people haven't sort of seen that before, but target 2 wind monsters in your graveyard and 1 card on the field. Shuffle both of these into the deck. First 2 targets into your deck, and then return the other to the hand. So nice little bit of removal. Foolish Burial, just to pop a Guldo into the deck or whatever else, so we can use Pilica's effect as soon as possible. And then the last but not least is a contact with Gusto. Again, just getting rid of, shuffling Gusto monsters from the deck in order to destroy a card on the opponent's side of the field. Another card we're going to be discarding from is, moving on to traps, is Ultimate Providence. When a spell, trap, or trap card or monster effect is activated, discard the same type of card, monster, spell, or trap, and negate the activation. And if I do, destroy the card. Absolutely brilliant. We're running, a fair few spells and traps anyway, but primarily I think it's there for the monster negation. And if we can use a Griffin to do that, then we're plussing off that as well. 2 more traps. We run Icarus Attack and Titanocider. Icarus Attack for any Wind Beast deck is always a good little win, and Titanocider is one of my favourites because the artwork is fantastic. It's got Appaloosa on it, of course it's great, but a little bit of an interruption for your opponent, and we can actually recirculate this card as well, so always good. Moving on to the extra deck. So it's primarily a synchro deck, this one, but I've tried to stick to all wins. So like I say, just to try and keep the theme the same. So we are starting with an Appaloosa. Yes, that's a Starlight Rare. Flexing a little bit, but I paid next to nothing for it when it first came out. And I just keep watching it go up and up and up. So I'm waiting for a prime opportunity to perhaps let it go. But beautiful card, beautiful artwork. It's wind. Absolutely love the card. Any excuse to play it in a deck is always good for me. So we're running it in Gustos. We're also running one the Wind Charmer. Everyone knows what the Charmers does, so that's fine. Moving on to XCs, we've got Dagusto Phoenix. Dual terminal rare. This one I had a long time. But this is where you can detach 1 material from the card to target 1 face-up wind monster you control. And this turn it can attack twice, so, why not, eh? Totem Bird as well seems very appropriate. It's Winged Beast, it's wind, 2 level 3 monsters to make it. And you can, obviously, when a spell or trap is activated, you can detach 2 materials from this card and negate the activation. Okay, fair enough, just a little thing there. This one's a new addition to the lineup. So Dragonlark Pyren, or Paren, I think it is. 2 level 6 monsters, so you'll be using 2 of the Synchro 6s to make it. Cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effect while a monster other than Pyren is face up on the field that was special summoned from the graveyard. During the standby phase, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 level 5 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it. And then, of course, if we're using that in line with Pilica again, she's going to get another special summon, and then all of a sudden you got 3 monsters on the field, to do with whatever you want with. So, again, see, quite appropriate. Moving on to Synchros, a really old friend of mine. This is Old Entity Hastor. Just a little bit of interruption for your opponent again. Guldos, not the strongest card in the world, but again, it's a Gusto deck, so I want to be trying to run as many as I can. I've not run all of them, obviously, but I just want to run most of them. That seemed like the better artwork, in fairness. Freeze is a handful. We used to run this at 3, but there are other options now. So we've got Freeze at 2, but can't be destroyed by battle, and any battle damage this card or another Gusto monster you control it takes, then your opponent takes that instead, which means you can use the smaller ones to crash into the opponent's larger monsters and they take the painful hit. And of course, when they're destroyed by battle, most of them are specialing another one out, which then can do the same in the battle phase. So it's a nice little potential OTK there. It doesn't come up very often, but it's if your opponent's not expecting it, then it can work. Lapland Pilica is one of the new ones again. I can only you can only summon once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, I can special summon 1 Gusto monster from your hand and 1 Gusto monster from your deck, but negate their effects. But immediately you're looking at another potential synchro summon. And then immediately you have to synchro summon with them anyway. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except wind monsters. Well, that's not too much of a problem in this deck, is it? So yeah, that's the other sort of level 6 synchro that we're moving into. Sorry, I just noticed the camera there. The other on the lineup is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Crystal Wing Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, Crystal Ring Synchro Dragon, and Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. They're all there. They're all in Ghost. Honestly, they're beautiful, aren't they? But they're a little bit of collectors for me. They all have their uses. Obviously, we can potentially move into Clear Wing with the Wind Witch engine and then move on to Crystal Wing. That's potentially what we end up doing most of the time anyway. They're there if they can be summoned. They don't get used all the time, but I think they're mainly there for a flex, if I'm perfectly honest. They're a nice little Ghost rare collection anyway. Another one of my favourite artworks is this one. So Stellar Wind Wolfriot. I think most people have seen this one before. And of course, it's Wind. Why wouldn't I have a Baron de Fleur in there as well? Guys, that is the end of the deck profile. Yes, it's an old deck. It's not for everybody. But I'm an old player, so I've got old cards. So, you know, this is, if you watch my channel, this is probably what you're going to be getting. I like decks. I like them for the artwork. Yes, there's some decent looking cards in there, but primarily, you know, that's why I have it. This is deck number 6. I'm now up to current format decks 41. So there's a fair few more profiles to come, and I'm updating them all the time. So I might end up starting to redo them as we go along. But this is me signing out. Any questions, please leave a comment down below. Put a like on there. Subscribe if you can, because obviously very much a fledgling channel. But yeah. Please, you know, please like and watch the other videos as well. See what you think of my profiles. Thanks very much. See you soon. Bye.